So today I have something kind of cool that I'm going to share with you guys. We all know the importance of having ND filters for outdoor recordings like today. And that's no different with an iPhone. So I'm currently recording on a DJI Pocket 3 with an ND filter. I found a variable ND filter for my iPhone that promises to get you much better quality videos. Let's take a look at it. Let's dive in. So this is made by Sandmarc, and this is a company that designed this particular variable ND in California, but I believe it's also manufactured in China. So I don't think it's manufactured in the US, but it is designed in California. So when I got it, the box was beat up like this. And doing the unboxing, the only thing that I would say is just be careful when you're taking it out. There's really 3 pieces in the box. You're gonna get the carrying bag, the ND filter itself, and then the clip-on. The clip-on screws onto the ND filter, but for me at least, the clip-on was all the way at the bottom. So I wouldn't have noticed it if I didn't, make sure to take everything out. So just make sure you take everything out. Like with most products, there's a few things that I absolutely love about this and a couple things that I don't. So let's talk first about the ND. The ND filter is actually very smooth. Feels great, feels like it's high quality, the glass looks great, and the ND range is between ND8 all the way up to ND64. So really 3 stops to 6 stops, and that's pretty good. That's plenty for most applications. Having a variable ND is always going to be just way more better than having to take things on and off. I don't see too much degrading of the image or the colors or anything like that. I mean, you're always going to have something with an ND filter. The Pocket 3, the ND filters I have on there are probably twice as expensive as this, and you're still going to have some sort of degrading going on. So that's pretty normal. The clip-on function is kind of where my frustration happens. It's okay, it's not bad. It doesn't really cover all of the cameras, but if you're gonna use something like a case, now my case is kind of different than most. It has a sliding door for camera privacy, but even if you didn't have that on there, I also have a clear protective cover for the cameras, so that's another obstacle you gotta get through. But if you didn't have that on there, I'm assuming it would work fine. I tried it without the iPhone case and with the iPhone case. I am able to get it with this setup. And quite honestly, it works just fine, but it works a lot better with the case off. So that's something to consider. The clip does have these little rubber feet that will protect your phone, but I'm not too crazy about having something clip onto my screen to hold a variable ND in place. So what about the image quality? Let's switch over to the iPhone and I'll do a couple different shots without the ND, with the ND. Give you guys an idea of what that looks like. And then we'll also compare it to the DJI Pocket 3. Okay, I think that's good. Not quite sure, but this is what it looks like with the ND filter on. And it should dramatically increase everything, right? Because now the iPhone doesn't have to cycle through the shutter speed. It should give you more of a cinematic look. Let's take this off real quick. And this is what it looks like without the ND filter. You're probably noticing the shutter's a little bit different, right? So that's kind of where you're going to see the most difference when things are moving. You're no longer going to get that motion blur. This is what it looks like without the ND filter.
Okay, so for this video, I really wanted to focus on a few things. I wanted to show the colors before and after using the ND filter, but also I wanted to really emphasize motion blur. Natural motion blur, like when these flowers are just naturally swaying in the wind, and object motion blur when you're moving the camera itself, because that's really what you're doing. You're controlling the shutter speed, which is allowing you to get that 24p, 24 frames per second cinematic look. So here you can see that I'm toggling between the ND filter and I'm also cycling through. The colors are pretty much consistent, and when we zoom in on the flower, you can see that's all retained. Comparing that to the DJI Pocket 3, it's actually extremely similar, but also focus on the plant swaying. You can see the difference in the motion blur. Now, if we take a look at this scene here, this is just some trees. Again, without the ND filter and with the ND filter. And if we compare that to the DJI Pocket 3, very similar. What I can see clearly when you're using the ND filter versus not is that action camera look, which is very annoying. And it's very present when you start swaying the camera back and forth. You can see the motion blur is very action-like. But as soon as we put the ND filter on, now the motion blur is a lot more contained. It looks a little bit more cinematic. It's not giving that jittery look. And it resembles very closely what the DJI Pocket 3 is producing, which a lot of people really love that camera. Even when you're pulling in and pulling out shots, having an ND filter again gives you that cinematic motion blur. And not having it gives you that action camera look, that jittery look, which gives the audience this sense of like urgency or anxiety.
Alright, so that's basically it. That's my review of the Sandmarc Variable ND Filter for your phone. I think it's a good product. I think it's really cool that you're able to use a variable ND. Attaching it, I understand the limitations, right? There's limitations to the phone. It's not a camera, right? But it does dramatically improve your image quality. So if you are a iPhone shooter, then this is probably a must-have. And having the variable ND, right? Having the ability to just cycle through your stops and really control the light is a game changer. Now, I'm not sure about pricing yet, so I'll just flash it here somewhere on the screen. And then of course, in the description of this video, you'll find a link to the product. So if you are interested, you can buy one for yourself. That's it for me, guys. Hope you found this video informative. And if you did, please consider subscribing and joining our channel memberships. I'll catch you on the next video.